So, my friends, we have this fun little triangle. And I threw in the ABC, basically just so we were all consistent, and the same. Technically, you could have kind of labeled it whatever, and it would have worked. But just as a reminder, how to label a triangle. I go around, I always look at the angles first, just out of habit. So I don't have angle A. I do have angle B, so I'm going to label that B is 107. I don't have angle C. So I have that one angle, so I labeled that. Angles are uppercase letters. And then I'm going to label my sides. So reminder how to label sides. Excuse me. You go to the angle, and this side across from it is labeled with that same letter. So if this is angle A, we would say that this is side A, and sides are lower cases. And once again, this is across from this angle. So if this is angle C, this is side C. And last but not least, we want to find, I know they labeled it X, but I'm going to label this as side B. I want this one. So I look and I say, okay, well, this is exciting stuff. So we did a little labeling, because usually I just kind of give you this info. They gave us a picture, which is the same idea. Does anyone remember from yesterday? At the top it says S/C. So it's asking, are we going to use law of sines or law of cosines? If we have BAC, should I use sines or cosines? Cosines, thank you. Remember, if they're all different, you use cosines. So then I just kind of pick my version based on what I have and what I'm looking for. Since I'm trying to find side B, I'll use the one that starts with B squared. And that one, oops, I'm writing the wrong thing. It's a Sherman. 2AC times cosine B. I also kind of have to choose this one because this is the only one that has angle B with it. And these are the ones I like because you kind of just plug in and then just use a calculator. You don't need to do any of the fancy rearranging like some of the other ones. So I just take what I got, I plug it in. And I just say, well, I have everything over here, so I don't need to rearrange anything. So I'm just going to grab my calculator. Someone in my last class was like, how do I plug that in? Literally, I just plug this in as one big long thing. So I hate doing that thing, like stuff like this in steps. I feel like that just like lends itself to making a mistake. So I literally do 28 squared. Exactly how it looks is how I plug it in. I got some big old number, B squared equals 1752.95. And then just remind you do take the square root of that. And that comes out to 41.9. Excuse me. And then I'm all sorts of happy because when I look at that first one, 41.9 is one of the answers if you moved in the down direction. So I'm going to fill in down, and then we'll go to the next one in a moment. I'll give you a second.
I don't think so.
Oh my God, you're like cold hot today.
Wait, I think I got it. I think I got it.
No.
So our first one was law of cosines. I knew that because all of the letters were different, so there wasn't really, I couldn't do law of sines. So I plugged in, just once again, I kind of gave you the labels just so we were all the same. If you had labeled it different though, you just would have used a different version, but you would have gotten the same answer. So, but just to keep us all consistent here. Okay, so it's exciting stuff. We moved down. So now we're on the second one. And I see just a big old triangle. So I'm going to do some labeling first. Just like, what do I have? What do I need? Excuse me. Sorry, I know I'm like blatantly in the way, but I'm just going to, always easier to fill in. So with this, I say, well, what do I know? I always like to label angles first, just out of habit.
Yeah.
Angle A is 88 degrees. I don't know angle B, and that's okay. Angle C is 42
I
degrees.
think you're I have this one.
I know this side, which is across from angle A, so that's side A, is 20. And it wants me to find this side, which is across from angle C. So I know they labeled it X, but I'm gonna label it as just side C. I like to keep everything in the ABC range, because that's kind of how our formulas are set up, so it just makes more sense in my head. So first thing to ask, should I do law of sines or law of cosines? Since I have ACA, and I have that repeat, we're gonna use law of sines. So once you see a letter repeated, you use law of sines. And I just remind myself, law of sines would be A over sine A.
I think so.
And I'm just gonna use it with C over sine C. Remember, I don't really care about the B part for this case, because I don't even have any B's. So I'm gonna plug in what I know. So what do I get? 20 over sine 88 equals C over sine 42. No,
This should work.
huh?
Here, this should work.
Do you have to? If you're doing it, okay.
Okay.
I know sometimes you can plug it in. I'm gonna cross multiply. I put my equal in the middle and I cross the other way. And then last but not least, I just need to get this C by itself. So I'm gonna divide by sine of 88. But once again, our main goal is to just kind of set everything up. So we can use that calculator to find our answer. I have no clue what it is, and I always leave my calculator. My calculator holds in here. What do I get? That's gonna be 13.4. I always just hope that's, oh, it is on there. Good. So 13.4. So we move down for the first one, and then we're gonna go down again. Exciting stuff.
So excited.
I'll give you another minute.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, what's up?
I borrow a pencil.
It's gonna run a bit to get caught up, at home, you guys are kind of filling in,
Oh, it hurts.
The second, or the third one here, there's like a little, it's not tricky, but there's just like one little quick thing we'll have to do, just that's a little extra. So I'll explain that to you, and I'm gonna have you do one or two after that on your own, and then we'll kind of wrap it up from there. Excellent. Yeah, we get to our Friday. Oh, goodness gracious. Yes. I can't believe April is next week. What do you think?
No.
April is in less than a
That's
week.
not good.
You need help?
Oh, no.
All right, so I'm gonna kind of move down to that third one. So once again, from the first one, over on that right, the upper right-hand corner, we move down. So our first answer was 41.9. And then from our second problem, we moved down again because the second answer was 13.4. So now we're basically on the right side of our paper, third one down. And I did want to point something out on this one. Let me see what we got. Let me just set mine up first, so we can see it.
Oh.
All right, so there's gonna be a little issue, but I mean, it can be taken care of in about 10 seconds, but I just needed to show it to you. So label first. I don't know angle A. I do know angle B, that's 61 degrees. I do know angle C is 44 degrees. And then once again, like, look what, oops, where's my X? I never put my X in, okay. And then I look and I say, well, I have this side and that's across from angle C, so I have side C. And for me, I'm trying to find this side, which is across from angle A. Okay, that's not bad. The first thing I notice is I have C and C, so I'm going to use law of sines. You have to pick that first. My issue is I'm trying to find side A, but I don't have angle A. I have angle B. That doesn't help me because with B I could find side B. That would be a big pain in the butt. So I'm just thinking in my mind, okay, well I want A, so I need that over sine A. And I'm going to do C over sine C. But I don't know what angle A is. The nice thing is, since I know these two angles, I can find A pretty easily. I can just do 180 minus the two angles that I know. So if you don't know an angle, but you can find it quickly, it's really not a terrible step. But it's just kind of organizing your information before you start. So I'm going to use this angle A. So once again, I'm not doing more work because I don't care about the B stuff. The nice part is this is kind of set up like the one we just did. We're just going to throw in our info. So we have A over sine 75 equals what, 22 over sine 44. We're going to cross multiply, just like we did before. Once again, once you know these problems, you do the same thing every time. You put an equal in the middle. And then last but not least, we want to get this A by itself, so that's a quick step to just divide by sine 44. The nice part is you kind of just throw that in your calculator and that's your answer. That will give us our missing side, and I have no clue what it is, so let's check. I got 30.6. Oh, I just always like to make sure I'm rounding the same as my paper. I get 30.6, and I'm just so excited that I can keep moving on in this awesome maze, guys. So you can see there was a few options where to go from here, and we would move to the left. 30.6 brings you to our fourth problem. This one I'm going to set up with you, but I'm going to have you actually solve it. See if you can remember these few steps. That was what our quiz was on the other day. And then maybe we'll just do one more problem after that, just to kind of wrap things up. Oh, yeah. So once again, we're kind of doing this just as review. I didn't want to start something new on Friday. That was just like way too much work. So we will start some area formulas next week. Once again, they're formulas. You kind of get the info, you plug it in, and you're kind of done. So just have a calculator you know how to use, and you should be in good shape. All right, so we're in our fourth problem. I'm going to help you with the setup. You guys are going to solve it, or attempt to solve it. Let me just write it first. Once again, none of these are 90 degree angles, right? We don't see any right angles, so you cannot use Pythagorean theorem. Because we do so much of that at the beginning, it's like, well, why not? Because you need a specific triangle, which we do not have, unfortunately. So I'm going to help you label. I'm going to go around first. I don't know any angles. Well, that's kind of stinks. So let me label my sides. If this is angle A, this is side A. So side A is 22. Angle B across is side B. And then angle C, that's side C. So I have all three sides. And I'm looking for this angle. Once again, they labeled it X, but I can see that's just angle A. So once again, if I'm talking about sines or cosines, A, B, C is what I have since they're all different, so it's cosines. And then you just have to pick the version that kind of makes sense. Since we're solving for angle A, I'm going to plug into this version. Okay. So I'm going to give you the next few minutes. Can you do your best? Whatever that is. Can you at least plug into it? That one is one that has a little bit of rearranging, so then can you try to rearrange and do your best to solve and find what angle A is? I'll do. And if there's one thing I'm looking forward to when we are back, it is not doing attendance virtually anymore, so. Sign off and on and wait. Say it to just be. We did, so they've been like putting out all this stuff about our return to school. So one thing they said was, if you're quarantined, like if you got exposed at school, like that's not your fault. If you're quarantined, we still have to live stream to you, so try not to get quarantined because I don't want to live stream. But anyways, it like pretty much says that we'll ignore you, so we get to ignore you as humans, you're not really a human, but I'll still put my lesson. But that's good, because there's nothing worse than being out in quarantine and being like, dude, I could be at school. I don't wanna make this all up when I get back, so that at least gets it, so you can stay up to date. But hopefully, just no one gets quarantined, that's gonna be our goal. I say that as half my last period class just got quarantined.
He's like this. Which one? This one? You have to do.
20.
Well, if you were here.
That's not.
Okay.
You have to do a squared is equal to 26 squared plus 31 squared minus 2 times 26 times 31 times cosine of 16.
I did.
You type that all in.
Ooh.
What'd you get?
27.
No,
Yeah, I did something wrong then.
it's. I think you might have typed it in wrong.
No.
You get 87.5 and then you square it.
Why does it work this time?
Check.
You sure I'm gonna go to the bathroom?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. About a minute or two, we'll kind of try that one, and then maybe, I don't know, let's see if you want to do one more after. Oh yeah, you guys are always a little ahead of my other class. I'm stinking the nose with me.
Do you check it off or?
Did you do that one?
Yeah. No, like, do you have to, like, just take a picture or anything?
You're good. All right, let's go over that one quick and then maybe we'll just try one more. It's kind of a wrap up. So that one you're probably noticing as you're doing, like, oh, this is the annoying one. I'll give you the annoying one. I'm sorry. So the reason it's kind of annoying compared to some of the other ones that are a little bit quicker is everyone right now should be able to plug in. So no matter what, you can do that step. So 22 squared equals what? 24 squared plus 19 squared minus 2 times 24 times 19. And then we just have cosine A. So the annoying part is the thing that I need is at the end of this big long formula. So we have to do a few steps and we have to do them in a specific order. Remember, all of this is connected with multiplication. So I always do that first. I remind myself, I can't just start like moving these things because they're connected with multiplication. These, however, are kind of on their own, so I can move those. I'm going to subtract them to cancel them over here. All right, so I'm going to combine those things now. What do I get? 22 squared minus 24 squared minus 19 squared. It's going to give me negative 453 equals. I am going to combine these numbers because once again, that's all multiplication. That's going to give me negative 912, excuse me. So we're looking a little bit better. Our main goal is to still get that A by itself, so I'm going to divide by negative 912. I'm going to get a little fraction here. Let me see what I get divided by negative 912. Gets 0.4967-ish. About that. But that equals cosine A. And to find A, we would do the inverse cosine. So you had that on your last quiz. Most of you actually did like really well on it, so thank you. And I know it's nice when you can kind of use your notes, but it looked like you guys were pretty much getting the idea. And that would come out to 60.2. So let's see where that leads us. Oh, and that's a degree. We found an angle, we put a degree symbol. So over there, we kind of go diagonal down to the right. Fabulous. Exciting stuff, guys. Exciting stuff. All right, let's kind of wrap up with this last one. We're in the bottom right-hand corner. If we don't get to all of them, that's okay. If we need to finish it later, or if we don't finish it, whatever works. So our last one. The labels up. And then that kind of gives us one of each type too, so that's good. So I label everything. Oh, what did I do? Okay, what did I do? Sorry, I put 84 degrees in. That doesn't make sense to have a degree right there. 84 degrees goes right there, you crazy lady. All right, so last but not least, let's see what we got. We have angle C. Okay. We have side B. It doesn't matter the order that you write these, as long as you write them. And we have side C. And my main goal is we want to find this angle, which we can see is angle B. Okay, so that's not too terrible. And I say to myself, all right, well, what do I do if I'm talking about sines or cosines? CBC, I have a repeat, I'm going to use sines, okay. So I'm going to set myself up. Oh wait, you guys were supposed to do this. I was just about to do it for you. Okay, this is your last wrap-up problem. So can you try your best to plug into that? I'll give you a few minutes. We'll go over it quickly and we'll be all done.